What's up and welcome to FPL Today. I'm your host JNO and welcome to the channel and welcome to massive FPL player analysis where we look at Alexandre Lacazette and his move to Arsenal. Now, Alexandre Lacazette has been a rumoured transfer to Arsenal for longer than I can remember. Arsenal have been in desperate need for a striker that can lead the line and score goals like Robin van Persie used to do, like Thierry Henry used to do. And it's been something they've been missing in their game for a considerable amount of time, and Arsenal fans have been crying out for a big money signing. Players like Karim Benzema, Patrick Aubameyang and more have all been linked with Arsenal at certain times, but finally they seem to have got one of their men. They've got Alexandre Lacazette for what I've heard is in the region of 50 million, but Sky Sports has reported it as undisclosed. He could be a big addition, maybe on the same level as Zlatan Ibrahimovic to the Premier League. I generally look at players from foreign leagues and kind of look at the stats and be a bit wary, purely because the Premier League is so different to a lot of other leagues in Europe. But Zlatan Ibrahimovic's stats last year were incredible in Italy and in France, and Lacazette's stats are pretty damn good as well. He's one that I will bring in early if I see any good signs of form from him, and I suggest maybe not put him in straight away because you've got the likes of Harry Kane and Lukaku, who we all know can perform in the Premier League, but definitely be ready to bring Lacazette in to your side before he starts raising in price and scoring a ridiculous amount of goals. Anyway, on this show today we look at the player's strengths and style of play, as well as looking at his stats over the last 3 years. All of this has been got off whoscored.com, so you can go and check out their website. And we're starting off with the strengths, and there is a lot of strengths to go through. The strengths that WhoScored have listed: one is finishing. Standard, we were expecting that. But he's also very good at long shots, also capable of through balls, which should be good to get players like Alexis Sanchez and Theo Walcott through. He's also quite good at dribbling and key passes, while he can also hold up the ball, and he's decent at passing generally, which most of the Arsenal side are. All of those strengths suggest to me that he should fit into this Arsenal side very nicely. As far as style of play goes, he likes to dribble, he likes to lay off the ball for other players and often gets fouled. Now, fouls in the box when a penalty is then scored, or fouls outside the box and the free kick is scored, are considered as assists in the Fantasy Premier League. So while I go over the stats later, the assists may go up. The only way he doesn't get assists is if he becomes Arsenal's main penalty taker or main free kick taker, then he doesn't get the assist for his own goal. But that's definitely something to take into consideration as we watch him through pre-season playing with Arsenal. Now, WhoScored don't actually give him any weaknesses, which I'm sure there is some weaknesses, but I'm not going to pretend I've watched enough of Lacazette to be fully aware of the type of player he is. This is all based off of research using whoscored.com and also looking at other people's articles about the player as well. But I will definitely have an opinion about him very quickly and early on in the season, as we do more shows during the season to keep up to date on what is going on. Now, yesterday we went over the 2016-2017 stats with our FPL transfer window episode, so go check that out. But just quickly, if you haven't watched that video, in 2016-2017 season he had 28 games played with 28 goals and 3 assists. His shots per game was at 2.8 and his key passes was at 1.7. Man of the Match awards, he managed to get 7 with an average rating overall of 7.57, which is very good for a striker. That means he's generally getting on the score sheet because that's what you want your strikers to do. Now, I've heard rumours that a lot of these goals are penalties, but as an FPL manager, I don't care how he scores. If he becomes Arsenal's main penalty taker, then I'm quite happy for a lot of his goals to come from penalties because we want those Fantasy Premier League points. It does mean every now and again you may get minuses because he misses a penalty, but from what I've heard, he's very accomplished at penalties, so that shouldn't be too much of a concern that a lot of his goals came from that. Also, another worry is some people seem to think that he might not fit into the Arsenal side that well because it's a lot of short passing, quick movement and getting the final product on the end of all of that. Whereas Lacazette has a lot of pace, and some people are worried that he won't get as many chances to run behind the defence in the Premier League as a lot of teams will sit back against Arsenal. but that is all speculation. I don't know any of that for certain, so we'll definitely be keeping an eye on his progress in the Premier League. In the 2015-2016 season, he had 34 appearances for Lyon, getting 21 goals, slightly less than the season just gone, but he got 3 assists as well. Nice to see some consistency, and his shots per game was also at 2.8, which shows more consistency. Key passes was down to 1.3, however. Only 2 man of the match awards and a 7.36 average rating, so not as good a season as last, but still 21 goals and 3 assists is nothing to be laughed at. So the fact that he's got 3 seasons with 20 plus goals is a bonus no matter how you look at it. And yes, that's a slight spoiler for the last season we're going to look at, which is the 2014-2015 season, where he had 33 appearances in total and he got 27 goals, very close to the 28 he scored last season. He got more assists though. He got 6 assists in that season, and shots per game was higher at 2.9. His key passes was at 1.6, and he got 8 man of the match awards with 7.69 average rating for the entire season. So we can see this is a very consistent striker, which is a good omen for how he will perform in the Premier League. It may take him some time to gel with the side and to settle in the Premier League in England, but if he can do that, and it may take a season, so he may not be firing on all cylinders for the first season, but maybe even next season he could be a must-have. But it's potential that he will go through a Zlatan Ibrahimovic run, where if you don't have him, it's just going to hurt your ranking. Anyway guys, thank you so much for tuning in today to the FPL player analysis episode on Alexandre Lacazette. If you've enjoyed the video, please hit that like button to show your support. Also, if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing and check out all the links in the description down below for you to support the channel, and check out all my affiliates that support the channel as well. All that being said, I've been JNO, this has been FPL Today, and remember, it's all about the game.